Square Enix has definitely stumbled over the past few years. Of course, last year they doubled and tripled down on NFTs. This year they're committed to focusing on AI, and they have unfortunately had a lot of censorship happening with their products. But now the Japanese Square Enix website has quietly shut down their ethics department pages, but a lot of people think that it's just a desperate attempt to get people to stop talking about it. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or via YouTube memberships. Now, I've had to talk a lot about Square Enix on the channel and all of this censorship that has happened with their games, but one major topic has been their ethics department, because there have been a plethora of issues and so much drama surrounding this one specific thing. Because yes, when you instantly hear an ethics department at a game company, it means that the product that you are purchasing is altered and edited. And unfortunately, we are not talking about, one occasional edit. We're talking about edits almost every single one of their products, and we're talking about multiple edits. So it's hard to overlook for people who are now completely aware of censorship and how much it does truly happen in video games. But this tweet by Manga Lawyer was put up. It says Japanese Square Enix has shut down the website, which shows one of the Japanese members of their ethical department bragging about censorship. The department is still working. This is damage control. The global Japanese companies are no different than the USA. They are bad faith actors. And I decided to look into this. And yes, this is an archive of this page that used to exist. It used to be the staff message, and it was for their ethics department. Specifically, the job of the ethics team is to make corrections to what the developers have made in earnest. Therefore, you are required to take full responsibility for your own decisions. The difficulty in confirming the expression of entertainment is that it should not be enough to judge whether it is Maru or X. For example, if a certain expression is not acceptable, it is necessary to have the ability to come up with alternatives. They also talk about how, the ethics department, where I check the expressions of all of the games we have developed from an ethical perspective. Specifically, we check all expressions in the game, such as scenarios, illustrations, designs, and effects. And of course, when we are talking about Square Enix, I am sure most of you are already aware of the things that this ethics department has done. Of course, most notably with Tifa in the Final Fantasy VII Remake. She was kind of the beginning of us learning of the ethics department, and of course, since then, we have seen many instances of censorship in their games, but they have quietly taken down this webpage where they had talked about the, ethics department. Now, I did try to look for an English website equivalent, and I couldn't find one, which honestly isn't that surprising, since their last full development studio they had was in Montreal. They do not have one in the United States, and of course, they sold the Montreal one to Embracer, which is why there's no English equivalent to the department, since it was ran out of Square Enix's home department. But yeah, I mean, it is currently, and as I'm making this video, it's been 2 days at this point, it just says not found when you attempt to go to this webpage. I personally, of course, agree with this poster that they are not, magically getting rid of this ethics department in, any way, shape, or form. I think that this is damage control. Over the past couple of weeks, there's been a lot of talk about localizers and, of course, censorship in manga and anime and video games, and there's been a lot of debate around the localization process. And of course, this ethics department, yes, I mean, they are the ones who are changing content in Square Enix's video games. So, I think that this is one big damage control. I do think that they are just silently, taking it offline for a little while, and then it will probably end up going back up. But even if the web page doesn't go back up, as far as we know, at this point in time, they do still have this ethics department where people that have worked for it have bragged about the censorship that they are doing. And it is unfortunate because Square Enix is such a known name in the industry, and they've created so many amazing games over the years, but we have so many situations like this. Square Enix's Star Ocean: The Divine Force English translation predictably altered. And one major running theme we have seen with Square Enix is with women. They want content to be less offensive to women, so they've made many changes over the years, like with this Japanese Games Compromised, Chrono Cross Remaster censored in both English and Japanese. Even more censorship has been discovered in Square Enix's Chrono Cross Remaster, the Radical Dreamers Edition, this time altering dialogue to be less offensive to women. I personally, as a woman, do not care if video game characters make jokes about women, or whether it is, just about our gender in general, or about height, or about getting in the kitchen. Like, I am not offended in any way, shape, or form by fictional characters like making fun of women. It does not bother me at all, and the sensitive snowflakes that it did bother still will not buy your product because they know that that content existed in the first place. So they're gonna go, you know what, I'm not going to support this product because you guys did it years and years ago. See, this is the problem with trying to bend the knee and alter your content for these people, because they're never going to be happy. Of course, we've seen so many redesigns with female characters, again, like Tifa, toning down her chest so that she was more realistic, even though nothing she is doing is actually realistic. We also have Triangle Strategy English translation butchered. The word woman is now offensive. The English release of Triangle Strategy has succumbed to the same fate as so many other Japanese titles, as the dialogue was found to have been localized, changing the tone or attitude of certain lines whilst rewriting others to boost the female characters up. And they didn't want to use certain words that could be deemed offensive to Western audiences. If it's not women they're trying to appeal to, it's the Western sensibilities. And Square Enix definitely has been focusing a lot on those sweet, sweet Western sensibilities. But as you can see, they're a company that hasn't really cared about localizers messing with their content, and they have this ethics department where they actually have people designed to mess with their content. It is very unfortunate, but they are, yes, very focused on Western sensibilities and not offending people, instead of simply making really good products that people are going to love. And I still like Square Enix to a certain degree, don't get me wrong. They have a massive back catalog with so many titles that I am very nostalgic for, but it's situations like this that really make you wonder what they're up to. Because again, they're not like magically getting rid of this ethics department as far as we know. I mean, there's that chance. I just highly doubt it. I think that yes, they are damage controlling. They did take this web page down so that people cannot search for it, and continue to talk about the fact that, there are companies with like them with full-blown ethics departments to alter their content. People are also calling them out here, saying, adding Square Enix to the list of companies I won't buy games from till they make a shape up. ESG would also explain Tifa's toned down redesign and remake. Not that this realization really matters to me, since the FF7 remake was super mid with tons of padding, etc. I mean, of course, it does matter to a lot of people. Again, Square Enix, lots of love, lots of nostalgia there, but unfortunately, they have fallen very far from, the pedestal they were once put on. I hope this teaches people a handful of lessons to not buy AAA on a whim. I'd rather wait a year or two for those games to be pirated. The mere fact that they are damage controlling is a good sign, not bad. At bare minimum, if these companies get scared enough, they will have a lighter hand on the localization to try to contain the backlash. I mean, this definitely is a train of thought, don't get me wrong. I personally don't think so, though, because they are already so heavily invested in things like ethics departments and upping their ESG scores and focusing on DEI. Like, these are just things that these companies are worried about. Like, do you expect Disney to magically one day just completely drop the DEI focus up in that sweet, sweet ESG score? Of course not, because because they are already so heavily invested in it. They've already made so many changes in order to focus on that. But as of right now, yeah, I mean, Square Enix has silently removed their ethics department webpage. Will this go back up? Who knows? I will be keeping my eye on it. But right now it is shut down, and a lot of people think that this is a massive damage control, judging by all of the backlash that is surrounding localizers and censorship in anime, manga, and video games. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.